1. The art of seat sniping. Your economy seat isn't just a chair, it is your geopolitical territory for the next day of your life. If you leave this decision to the airline gods at the check-in desk, you're basically volunteering for the middle seat next to the bathrooms. You need to become a seat sniper. Most airlines open their digital check-in precisely 24 to 48 hours before takeoff. Do not wait for the email. Set an aggressive alarm like you're trying to secure front-row tickets to a reunion tour. When that map opens, do not just click the first available spot. Cross-reference your flight on sites like Aerolapa. They give you the exact unedited floor plan of the aircraft. They expose the trap doors, the seats that are missing a window, the rows right in front of the bulkhead that physically cannot recline, and the danger zones near the galleys where flight attendants will be slamming metal carts at 3 a.m. Aisle seats give you infinite bathroom freedom. Window seats give you a solid wall to lean on and full control over the shade. But whatever you do, claim it early and claim it ruthlessly. All right, you've locked down the perfect real estate. You're feeling like a genius, but all that legroom won't mean a single thing if your own body betrays you the minute you hit cruising altitude. Which brings us to the ugliest, yet most brilliant wardrobe hack in existence. Tip 2, the grandpa hack, compression socks. Let's talk about your legs. You know that horrific moment 6 hours into a flight when you finally stand up and your ankles feel like they've been filled with wet cement? You hobble down the aisle like a rusty cyborg, wondering why your shoes suddenly don't fit. It's called fluid pooling and it's miserable. The antidote? Compression socks. I know. They sound like something a doctor prescribes you after hip surgery, but slipping on a pair of high-quality compression socks before you board is a literal cheat code. They force the blood back up to your heart, preventing the dreaded cankle effect. And here's the secondary superpower nobody talks about. They are thermal insulators. Airplane cabins are often kept at meat locker temperatures to prevent people from fainting. When your feet are freezing, your brain panics. Slap on some tight, knee-high compression socks and you'll trick your nervous system into total relaxation, while the rookies around you are shivering under those paper-thin airline blankets. So, your legs are locked, loaded, and warm. But compression socks can only do so much heavy lifting. If you want to avoid exiting the plane looking like the Hunchback of Notre Dame, you need to master the art of invisible movement. Tip 3, the stealth aisle yoga. If you sit completely paralyzed in an economy seat for 14 hours, your spine will launch a full-scale rebellion. The human body wasn't designed to be folded like a lawn chair for that long. The secret to landing without a slip disc is micro-movements. I call it stealth yoga. I am absolutely not telling you to go to the back galley and start doing burpees or downward dog. Please do not be that person. But you must hack your circulation. If you're trapped in a window seat while your seatmates are in a deep coma, do seated calf raises. Spell the alphabet with your big toe to roll your ankles. Clench and release your glutes. When the aisle finally clears, take a purposeful walk to the bathroom, even if you don't really have to go. Do a few subtle twists while waiting in line. Frequent tiny bursts of movement keep your joints lubricated and trick your body into thinking you aren't trapped in a flying tube. Keep your blood moving and you won't need a chiropractor in your destination city. But speaking of avoiding pain, how exactly do you sleep sitting completely upright without snapping your neck in half? Let's engineer your personal bed. Tip 4. Engineering the perfect nest. People who successfully sleep in economy class don't have magical DNA. They are just better architects than you. First, let's address the hardware. Look at the leather headrest behind you. 90% of travelers don't realize that those headrests have hidden bendable hinges. Grab the sides and fold them aggressively inward like a taco. Boom. You just created a custom cradle that stops the humiliating, neck-snapping head bob every time you drift off. Next, take that pathetic, wafer-thin pillow the airline generously provided. Do not put it behind your head. It is entirely useless up there. Instead, shove it directly behind your lower back, right at the lumbar curve. That single, tiny adjustment aligns your spine and transforms the seat from a torture device into something that loosely resembles ergonomic furniture. Your spine is supported and your head is secured. But you're still boxed in by rigid plastic armrests, right? Wrong. It's time to locate the hidden button the airlines don't want you to know about. Tip 5. The secret escape latch. This is the ultimate insider secret. If you are sitting in an aisle seat, you probably feel boxed in by that heavy outer armrest. It locks you into your 17 inches of space and makes getting up feel like a gymnastics routine. Run your hand along the underside of that aisle armrest, right down near the hinge, close to your thigh. Feel around for a tiny latch or button. Push it. Instantly, the armrest lifts all the way up and locks flush with the seat back. You have just expanded your personal real estate. You can lean over the aisle, stretch your legs out, just watch out for the beverage cart, and casually slide out of your seat without doing a weird straddle over your neighbor. It's a literal get-out-of-jail-free card. You've claimed your space, and you're finally drifting into a deep, glorious sleep. And then, the absolute worst thing happens. Someone shakes your shoulder. Want to become invisible to the flight crew? Watch this. Tip 6. The do not disturb illusion. There is no rage quite like the rage of being woken up from a hard-earned airplane nap because a flight attendant needs to visually verify your seatbelt is fastened during mild turbulence, or worse, getting jolted awake under blinding cabin lights so they can shove a foil tray of mysterious pasta into your lap. The fix is almost stupidly simple. Buckle your seatbelt over your blanket, over your jacket, over your oversized scarf. Make it aggressively visible. Yes, it looks a little goofy, but when the crew does their safety sweeps in the dark, they will see that metal buckle shining, give you a silent nod, and let you sleep through the storm. Also, if you plan to skip the meal service entirely, make sure your tray table is securely locked in the upright position before you close your eyes. If it's down, it's an invitation for them to leave food, which means they might nudge you to ask what you want to drink. Shut the table, buckle the belt, and become a ghost. You've visually checked out of the flight. But what about the noise? If you don't block out the symphony of chaos around you, you're never going to survive. Welcome to acoustic warfare. Tip 7. The acoustic armor. An airplane cabin is essentially an acoustic nightmare. You've got the 80 decibel roar of the jet engines, the guy aggressively typing on his laptop in row 32, a bachelorette party 3 rows back, and a toddler testing their vocal limits. Trying to relax in that environment is like trying to meditate inside a blender. Active noise canceling, ANC headphones, are not a luxury item. They are a medical necessity for your mental health. But if you don't want to drop hundreds of dollars on over-ear cans, master the art of the foam earplug. Most people just jam them in and complain they don't work. The trick? Roll the foam tightly into a tiny cylinder. Pull the top of your ear up and back to open the canal. Slide it in deep and hold it there for 10 seconds while it expands. The cabin roar will instantly evaporate into a gentle hum. For maximum dominance, double up. Earplugs in, regular headphones over the top playing white noise. You will literally hear your own heartbeat. The cabin is completely silent, but total zen can easily be destroyed if you put the wrong things into your stomach. One bad snack and you'll be miserable for the next 10 hours. Tip 8. The altitude diet. Altitude does terrible, weird things to human digestion. As the cabin pressure drops, the gas in your stomach physically expands by up to 30%. So when the food cart rolls around offering salty, heavily processed, cheese-covered meals, eating it is basically swallowing a ticking time bomb of bloat. Skip the heavy, greasy stuff. Do not accept the sodium-loaded pretzels. And please, step away from the alcohol. Having 3 mini bottles of wine because they are free is a rookie mistake. Alcohol and caffeine hit twice as hard in the dry, pressurized air, aggressively dehydrating you and guaranteeing a skull-crushing headache upon landing. Your in-flight diet should be incredibly boring. Plain water, electrolyte packets you brought from home, and light snacks like nuts or a turkey sandwich you bought at the terminal. Hydrate like it's your job. Aim for a cup of water every 90 minutes. You will step off the plane feeling light and energized, while everyone else feels like a damp sponge. You are hydrated, light, and comfortable. Now, how are you going to stay entertained for the next half day without your arms falling asleep? Let's build a movie theater. Tip 9. The DIY seatback cinema. Holding your phone in your hands to watch movies for 10 hours straight is a guaranteed one-way ticket to carpal tunnel and a stiff neck. You need to turn your immediate area into a hands-free entertainment hub. If your plane doesn't have seatback screens, get creative. A pop socket on the back of your phone case allows you to wedge it right into the latch of the tray table. Don't have one? Take your sunglasses, Fold them halfway, flip them upside down on the tray table, and rest your phone perfectly inside the lenses. And if you want it at perfect eye level, take the unused paper airsick bag from the seat pocket, sandwich the bottom of the bag between your phone and your phone case, and flip the top of the bag over the tray table latch. Boom. A suspended eye-level cinematic experience. Yes, it looks like a middle school science project, but your neck will thank you. Your theater is set up. But the movies you choose to watch actually have the power to mentally shorten the flight. It's a psychological trick called the flight-only stash. Tip 10. The dopamine detox strategy. Boredom on a plane is often just a symptom of bad planning. If you board a 15-hour flight and just plan to see what's on the in-flight entertainment, you are setting yourself up for misery. Instead, build a flight-only stash. 2 weeks before your trip, implement a strict dopamine detox on the content you love. That highly anticipated new season of your favorite show, ban yourself from watching it at home. That massive 4-hour podcast interview everyone is talking about, download it, but do not press play. When you finally settle into your economy seat, crack open your snacks, and press play, your brain stops associating the airplane with a cramped prison and starts associating it with a massive, highly anticipated reward. You reframe the entire flight from an endurance test into a dedicated movie marathon. You're deep into your favorite show, but you're getting thirsty. And relying on the flight attendant's tiny plastic cups is a massive amateur move. Enter the greatest piece of travel gear you will ever own. Tip 11. The thermos supremacy. This single item flips the power dynamic of the airplane cabin. A good thermos keeps your water icy cold for 24 hours. But more importantly, it unlocks the galley's hidden menu: infinite boiling water. You can bring your own premium tea bags, hot chocolate, or even instant ramen and oatmeal packets. When the cabin gets freezing cold at 2 a.m. and everyone else is desperately trying to suck a drop of moisture from an empty plastic cup, you can confidently stroll to the galley, ask for hot water, and return to your seat with a steaming, comforting meal. It is the ultimate flex. You bring the container, they provide the heat. With your thermos in hand, you are invincible. But where do you put it? If you cram everything into the overhead bin, you've just created a massive headache for yourself. Let's fix your packing strategy. Tip 12. The underseat command center. This is the biggest rookie mistake in aviation history. Shoving your entire carry-on bag into the overhead bin, sitting down, and realizing 45 minutes later that your chapstick, your charging cable, and your snacks are locked away above a sleeping stranger's head. You are now forced to do the aisle walk of shame, climbing over your neighbors, yanking open the heavy bin, and frantically digging through your luggage while the flight attendants wait for you to sit down. The fix? The two-bag ecosystem. Your main roller bag goes up top and stays there, but you must carry a secondary soft-sided survival pouch. It should be small enough to fit under the seat in front of you without stealing your legroom. This pouch holds only the absolute essentials for the next 14 hours: electronics, meds, snacks, and toiletries. It acts as your personal command center. Everything you need is exactly an arm's length away. You never have to stand up. This pouch keeps you sane, and inside that pouch, you need a very specific weapon to fight off the invisible enemy that is currently attacking your face. Tip 13. The Q-tip desert defense. We briefly mentioned that the cabin is dry, but let's talk numbers. The humidity in a commercial airliner is typically around 10 to 20%. For context, the Sahara Desert sits at about 25%. You are literally flying in conditions drier than a desert. It attacks your skin, cracks your lips, and dries out your nasal passages, leaving you susceptible to nosebleeds and post-flight sickness. Fight back aggressively. Pack a heavy-duty lip balm and a travel moisturizer and apply them every few hours. But the ultimate hack? The Q-tip defense. Dab a cotton swab in a healing ointment like Aquaphor or Vaseline, store it in a tiny Ziploc, and halfway through the flight, do a gentle swirl inside each nostril. It sounds weird, it looks a little weird, but it acts as a moisture barrier that stops the dry air from wreaking havoc on your sinuses. You will breathe easier, sleep better, and land healthier. Your skin is hydrated and you are glowing. But a glowing face means nothing if your outfit is currently cutting off your circulation. Let's talk about the anti-fashion uniform. Tip 14. The layered armor. The airplane cabin is not a fashion show. It is a survival scenario. Do not wear stiff denim. Do not wear complicated belts. tight boots, or anything with excessive zippers and metal hardware that will flag you at TSA and strangle you at 35,000 feet. You need to dress strategically. The cabin temperature is wildly unpredictable, so layers are your only defense. Start with soft, breathable joggers or athleisure pants that allow you full range of motion. Add a breathable cotton t-shirt topped with a zip-up hoodie that you can easily shed if the cabin turns into a sauna. And the absolute MVP of travel wear, a large, dark, lightweight scarf. It is the ultimate multi-tool. It's an emergency blanket, a makeshift neck pillow, a lumbar support, and a privacy curtain if you drape it over your face while you sleep. And always pack a fresh pair of socks and clean underwear in your command center pouch. Changing into fresh clothes 45 minutes before landing feels like taking a shower. You will step off the plane feeling completely reborn. Speaking of changing clothes, you're going to need to use the bathroom to do it. But if you mistime your bathroom run, you'll be standing in line for 30 minutes. Here's how to hack the lavatory. Tip 15. The lavatory time warp and jet lag matrix airplane bathrooms are a game of pure strategy. The absolute worst times to go are immediately after the seatbelt sign turns off and exactly 30 minutes after the meal service ends. The lines will stretch halfway down the aisle. You need to operate counter to the herd. The absolute best time to use the lavatory? Exactly when the flight attendants roll the heavy metal drink and food carts into the aisle. Everyone else is trapped in their seats by their tray tables. The aisles are blocked. If you are sitting behind the cart, you have a completely uninhibited private runway to an empty bathroom. And finally, as you wash your face and prepare for landing, it's time to defeat the final boss, jet lag. Do not wait until you land to adjust. The second you sit down on the plane, change the clock on your phone to your destination's local time. Force your brain to start living in the future. Sleep when it's dark where you are going and stay awake with the reading light on if it's daytime there. Use apps like Time Shifter to gamify your light exposure. Jet lag isn't inevitable, it's just a puzzle. Solve it in the air and you win on the ground. So there you have it. 15 absolute cheat codes to outsmart economy class. Surviving a long-haul flight isn't about how much money you spend on the ticket, it's about the micro decisions you make before and during the flight. Every single choice, from the seat you snipe to the thermos you pack, stacks up. It transforms an agonizing endurance test into a completely manageable, maybe even enjoyable experience. Because when those wheels finally hit the tarmac, you don't want to feel like you just survived a battle. You want to feel like your adventure has already begun. Now, I want to hear from the veterans out there. What is the single worst long-haul mistake you've ever witnessed? And what is your personal top-tier travel hack? Drop it down in the comments. I read every single one, and the best ones might just make it into the next guide. If this video saved your knees, your sanity, or your sinuses, hit that like button, share it with that friend who is notoriously terrible at packing, and hit subscribe to join our community so you never fly unprepared again. Thanks for watching, master the sky, and safe travels.